everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to another of my TV episode review series. So today's TV episode I'll be reviewing today is the Orville episode 4, If the Stars Should Appear. And before I get into my thoughts about this episode, I would like to remind everyone that new episodes will be posted, or new videos will be posted every Sunday. It could be Sunday morning, Sunday night, or Sunday evening. Excuse me. Depending on when I can get the videos posted up. And if you happen to see a video posted up during the week, that must mean that there was a bit of TV show or movie news that was released during the week that I wanted to cover. So those would be considered special videos, but new videos will be posted up every Sunday. So now let's get into this episode. If the Stars Should Appear from the Orville. And what happens in this episode is that we see Ed and the crew discover this massive ship that's floating out in space. And when they went inside the ship to explore it, they found out that there's a civilization inside the ship that's like the size of New York. The ship looks like it is the size of New York. And they go inside the ship and they find this civilization inside. And they realize that the ship is actually heading towards a star because its engines actually shut off over 2,000 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, I believe. And so the crew, the people who were inside the ship was stuck in space for so many years because of that. And when they discovered that the ship is actually heading towards a star, Ed and the crew try to convince the people, you need to get off this ship, or we can help you get off. We can help you get off the ship because you're heading to a star. It's going to destroy the ship. But the people keep telling Ed that they're being ruled by this government that's like telling them, there's nothing out there in space and y'all should stay in the ship where it is. And they were also like keeping secrets from the people, like not telling the people, there's actually another world outside the ship and that they should explore it. And so that's pretty much the gist of the episode so far. Pretty much it has Ed trying to convince the people of the ship that they got to get out of there because they're heading towards a star, and that the government of that ship is like telling the people, they shouldn't leave, and they're trying to torture Ed and his crew for coming in and try to tell the people to get off the ship, or trying to ruin their the way they ruled the citizens in this on the ship. So what are my thoughts about this episode? I thought this episode was pretty interesting. Like, it's not as dark as the previous episode, or not as hard-hitting as the previous episode was. But it still managed to connect the real world issues to this episode. Like in this case, we have the issues about oppressive governments coming in this episode, or cults, what cults are like, depending on how you view the people who are like ruling over the people. But yeah, the real world scenario in this episode is that we have this government that's like trying to tell the people, nothing's wrong, this is how life is supposed to be. And you have Ed and his crew come in and try to tell the people, you're heading to a star and you're going to get killed unless we all get you off the ship. So that's pretty much the emotional part of the episode. And then we do have some parts of the other half of the story where the rest of the crew from the Orville end up getting engaged in a battle against the Krills. And even though that was a pretty short battle, it was interesting seeing the special effects being put into the fight scenes between the Orville and the Krill ship. So I did enjoy the fight scenes, even though it was really brief for this episode. And I did enjoy how this episode managed to tackle some hard subjects, like what it's like to live in an oppressive government, or dealing with a cult in general, depending how you view it. And that's what I really enjoy about this episode. Now, if there was some problems I had with this episode, is that I felt like they didn't focus enough on Bortus's storyline. Like the last storyline, we have Bortus trying to wrestle with this situation about whether or not he should change the sex of his baby from a female to a male. And I wish that this episode delved more into Bortus's own insecurities, or Bortus's how Bortus is trying to deal with this situation from the last episode with his mate. And you can see that he and his mate are at odds with each other because of the last episode. So I would have liked this episode to focus more on Bortus's turmoil from the last episode, and see how he and his mate would make it out after this incident. But I'm pretty sure in future episodes we'll probably see more about Mortis' situation in deal with the fallout of the last episode come in future episodes. But overall, I give this episode 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars. There were some slow scenes in this episode, and I wish the pacing was a little faster in some places. But I think this was a great episode that explores another real world issue, and it also manages to bring back the humor into this show since the last episode was like mostly serious. So this episode managed to bring back some of the humor. So again, I give this episode 4.5 stars. Again, the pacing's a little slow, but there's a very good balance between drama and humor in this episode, and I can't wait to see the next episode, which has Charlize Theron coming. So, and it's supposed to be like the Wham episode of the series. So, it's been like 4 episodes since the Orville has been on, and so far the show's just continues to get better and better in my opinion. So I hope this show hits it out of the ballpark next episode. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen on next week's episode. And tell me in the comments below, have you seen this week's episode of the Orville, and what are your thoughts about it? Please feel free to comment below, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated any new videos I post up, and also like my Facebook page, Rabbitearsblog's Best Comments. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.